Good morning, everybody. It's Sasha here. And as you know, this is early on a Saturday morning for the Free to Fly conference. It has been an absolutely amazing week so far. I won't lie. It's just been a lot of fun, and we've been able to talk about so many great content, and it's really bringing us some awareness for our Free to Fly. Now, for those of you who don't know yet, our Free to Fly conference and online conference and fashion show, it's been going on since early this week and will be going into November. That where we're spanning Domestic Violence Awareness Month, both in Canada and the United States. Now, we are trying to get as many viewers as possible. The whole idea being is we'd like to spread awareness and make sure everybody knows about us. Now, I don't know how many of you are already aware of this. I try to do a little cut through here and there, but part of what we offer are these beautiful Freebird, Linda! Beautiful Freebird fashions. So if you do want to wear any of the really cute things that I've been wearing lately, which by the way are like pajamas that look pretty, then please feel free to just go to www.thefreebirdprojectshop.com, and proceeds for these. So part of what we do with the money that we raised by selling these products is we support domestic violence programs. So we've actually helped several Freebirds find their wings. One, most importantly, being actually the person who helped us found this industry, Carol, and we're just really happy to be able to do this. Now, I guess I want to start by apologizing. It looks like we haven't been able to get Natasha Koo to connect this morning. I know, I'm so sorry. I know you must be just heartbroken. I'm heartbroken. She was going to talk about feminine space. See, Linda's heartbroken too. But she was going to talk about feminine space today, and I've been giving some thought on to try to do that myself, but for those of you who know me, know that this is not a good idea. We need Natasha for this subject. So Linda's joined me. Linda is also one of our Freebirds. She's our Freebird Secretary. I'm the Treasurer. Hi. And the two of us are going to sit and have a little bit of a powwow. I'm going to adjust a little bit. We're going to talk about shoulds. Now, the reason I want to talk about shoulds are because shoulds get everybody, and let me be honest, the shoulds have really been nailing me to the wall the last couple of days. So I'm thinking that'll be a really great replacement topic in lieu of Natasha. Now, she may jump on if she gets things working, in which case we'll pick up with the feminine awesomeness right out the gates. But until then, let's talk about the shoulds. Now, before I do that, morning, Linda.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm really super excited. My mom and coming, and I'm just super excited to be getting them here.
Oh, I'm so excited. And you haven't seen them in quite a while too, so you get some awesome family. You're gonna show them some of our Freebirds fashion, right?
Oh, well, of course.
Again, Freebirds fashion. Sorry.
You're wearing that this morning. Good job. That's beautiful.
Oh, I love, here, I'll show this to you. I love this thing. Like, look at the fit on it.
Wow. That is beautiful.
And the sleeves are just gorgeous, and they're not in my way. I am so comfy.
That's awesome. I'm so proud of you. That's amazing. Beautiful. You know what? I actually thought I was going to buy one of those too the other day, that same shirt. So I'm kind of glad I didn't, because then we would look like twinsies.
Well, you could get one in a slightly different color. I can honestly say you might really love this one. It's so comfy.
Which other colors do they have? I can't remember if they had. I thought that was the only one that had that color. If there's other colors, then hey.
I think there was another color, at least one other color. I don't know. I know that there must have been one other color because they asked me which one I wanted, but I can't remember anymore. But hey, that's why we have it all online, so I don't have to remember. Linda knows me. She knows. So let's talk a little bit about shoulds. This is actually something I've been hearing a lot in my social circles, in my business circles. It's the word should. And I know it's even affected some of our Freebirds here, so I thought it would be a good time to kind of talk about it. Now, what I mean by shoulds is well, quite literally the word. For instance, our lovely Miss Linda feels that she should have more time to devote to things like Freebird conferences and meetings and stuff like that. That is Linda's should. Now, Linda, why do you feel that you should do this?
Well, I mean, if anybody who knows me can see right now, I have no makeup on. My hair is not fixed. So, Sasha got a message about, what, 10, 15 minutes ago saying, oh my goodness, my alarm didn't go off. I should have said it earlier. So that's a prime example of should. I am here, but I should have my makeup on. I should have my hair done. I should have more, have opened up a little bit more time for me to do this. So there's how many shoulds in one sentence? I, need to get that done.
All right, and thank you so much, Linda, to playing right into my point. I'm so sorry I just used you as a guinea pig, but here's the thing. Should is one of those words that I believe needs to be eliminated from all of our dictionaries. Should is an evil, judgmental word. No, Linda, there's no should to this. You got up and you came and joined me on a webinar in front of tons of people. I should have just said that. Sorry, I love you. And knowing that you've got those fears and those nerves, and you're not wearing makeup, you're here, you're on point, you're to help me out in a pinch. Now, exactly what should you have done? Oh, that's right. Should is a judgment. So with things like should is one of those things that makes us feel bad about ourselves. Should makes us feel like there's things that we aren't doing that we should be doing. The problem with that is that nobody can tell you what that's supposed to look like. For Linda, the fact that she got up this morning and she came out here and she's doing this with me, which I love her immensely for, I'm sorry, but she should be commended for that. I mean, for her, that was a big step. For her, that was something that was unplanned, unexpected, and she took a huge step to be able to do this with me. So I think she did exactly what she should be doing. And the fact that you think otherwise, Linda, is a key example of what especially we women do to ourselves with the word should. Now, for instance, so our Freebirds, all of our Freebirds are to some degree domestic violence survivors. Actually, we're all domestic violence survivors to quite a big degree, actually. So that's part of the reason that we do what we do. There's been some criticism that we've received that we should have more people following along, that we should have more sales, that we should be doing more. Lots and lots of shoulds. And I know that this has affected some of our own Freebirds. I know that it affects people all the time. But there's just so many factors to take into consideration that not everybody can know, right? So, for instance, with Freebirds, okay, so we should be doing all of these things, but Carol, she's our president, she's doing all sorts of rescue and support where she is. She's also dealing with having just moved and internet connections and all sorts of other things. Patricia, she does so much work for us. She has a full-time day job as well. Linda and I run another company. So all of us have other projects and other things on the go. And we're all donating as much of our time to this project as humanly possible, including our money, anything that we can to try to make this really go smoothly and go well. We don't deserve to feel bad about what we can do and what we have done because someone else might be able to do more. And that is the power of should. What do you think, Linda?
I agree. I mean, the thing is that we are so hard on ourselves in so many ways. I mean, you and I were just talking about this yesterday. For me, like you said, we run another company. I have another part-time job. I also deal with the addiction stuff with my son, and I also, want to give as much time as I can to Freebird. And plus, with my mom and my sister coming, I'm, panicking about the house, and I had the flu this week. So, it's been a rough week. But you know what? I made it through. And you're right. We should not put so much judgment on ourselves. I mean, you know, we do a lot. I know a lot of us women especially put a lot of pressure on ourselves that are it's unnecessary. And you know, I look at you, Sacha, and you know, you blow my mind because you're just amazing. Um, you know, same thing with Carol and same thing with Trish. You know, I mean, I couldn't be any luckier to be with a bunch of group of women than I am with. And you know, I think sometimes we need to set down and remember the blessings that we have, and you know, not quite be so hard on ourselves.
Absolutely. And I mean that, and great points. Thank you so much. And flattery, first thing in the morning. You're going to make my head all poofy. But
I haven't even had coffee yet.
You haven't had coffee yet? Guys,
Yeah, no,
I just want to point out how absolutely phenomenally cheerful Linda is having no coffee as of yet.
I jumped out of bed, like literally. I was texting you. I jumped out of bed and I ran down the stairs and I got on.
I can appreciate that. I won't lie. I wasn't moving super fast this morning either. But I really do think some of what you brought up was really good points. And this kind of ties into some of the things that I've even seen in some of the groups that I participate in Facebook. I'm part of a couple of different mother entrepreneur groups. And I'm bringing this up because they are notorious for the shoulds. Mm-hmm. Especially as a mother. Linda knows this. Carol knows this. Patricia, actually, everybody but me knows this. Let's just be honest. I have cats, not kids. But as mothers, you all know that it's a completely different ballgame trying to manage children and a new business than just trying to manage a new business. What I deal with is a different ballgame than yours entirely. And I know that sometimes you look and you're like, oh, Sacha's doing. No, I just have a different amount of time and different commitments. Doesn't mean I'm doing any better, any worse. And I still have fears too. But I don't should myself. I was at the beginning, but now it's really liberating to let go of those shoulds. I felt that with the amount of time I had my Twitter running, by now I should be at a different amount of followers. Since realizing the detriments of the word should, I went and took a look at it. And Twitter is one of those things where followers isn't necessarily your key indicator. It's other things. There's so much more to look at than just your followers. So should I get more followers? Who's to say, really? What I need are people who are engaged and interactive and sharing our stuff. So there are all sorts of different places where should falls into play. Now, Lynn, I'm going to pick on you again because I love you. And because you work so well for this topic, so do I. But I know that one of the things that you are doing to yourself for several days on end is how you should get your entire house clean for your family coming in. How did that make you feel?
Panicked. You know, I mean, my house is not dirty by any means. Anyway, I mean, you've been to my house many times, Sacha. It's just, you know, when your mom's coming and your older sister's coming, it's like, oh, I want to have it immaculate, right? And when you have 6 teenagers, I mean, granted, you know, 2 of them don't live here, but, you know, when you have teenagers that are coming in and out and going and doing things, I mean, you know, it's not always easy to keep it clean, like immaculate. I am very lucky. I have had lots of help from Miss Alicia. She's been just an angel helping me this last few days. And, you know, in all reality, it's not going to make a difference. My mom is not going to come here and judge me, and neither is my sister. You know, and I shouldn't have been so stressed out about it. Because I mean, it didn't do any good for me. I mean, like I said, I've been fighting the flu for the last few days, which I want to get over because, you know, my mom and my sister are coming, which I think I am, but, you know, hopefully. You know, it's just, yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be so hard on yourself. That is the key thing that I keep coming back to. And I'm so glad that you brought this topic up because it didn't change anything for me to be worried. It didn't change anything for me to be stressed out. It didn't change anything. You know, my house is still clean. You know, I got to do a few more things before this afternoon, but whatever. You know, and that's just the way things are. And when we stress each other out and stress ourselves out, we're not doing anything. There's no benefits to it. There's no health benefits. There's no psychological benefits. There's no benefits, period, to us stressing ourselves out. So, you know, I don't know. Has there been a lot of, I don't know, data or, you know, information brought out that we can look at or can talk about for health benefits of that?
Well, I wish I still had the content, and I do apologize, guys. I came up with this off the top of my head this morning. But the reason that it's such an important topic and one that I speak on frequently is because I actually went through a program for 3 years called dialectical behavioral therapy. It's good for treating a lot of different things, but in dialectical behavioral therapy, should is one of those things that we actually learn how to work out of our conversations. Technically, the only thing that you should be doing is your best. Now, regardless of the effect of the word should on your body, we all know the effects of negative stress. Negative stress, especially chronic negative stress, can lead to all sorts of different health problems. You could end up with high blood pressure, eating poorly. Oh, by the way, stress eating. Huge thing when it comes to shoulds and when it comes to when it comes to most of anything. I mean, we actually talked about that earlier this week with Emmy. Food is something that people then run to when they get stressed. So we know that stress makes us do things that aren't necessarily good for our body. So using terms like should increases our stress levels because it's making us feel inadequate. And that's really what it is. You don't feel like you are good enough, and that is why you are harping on yourself. These negative reinforcements, I mean, of course there's studies, and I wish I had them on hand, but if negative reinforcement was effective, we'd still be using it a lot more. But negative reinforcement is something that we move away from in more and more areas. I mean, dog training, again, something that I talk about because I do it. We used to train dogs, bad dogs, smack on the nose. It really didn't work all that well. I mean, the dogs would listen to a degree, but it didn't really work all that well. Now, later techniques with the dog, it's a lot more positive reinforcement. I train all of my dogs with hand commands, no voice signals, because I expect at some point I'm probably going to go blind or I'm probably not going to have a voice. So all of my animals are trained that way. Now, when I'm training it, I never get mad at them for not doing something. I only, get frustrated after a while, but I never take that out on the animal. You want to train them to go to the bathroom on the little pad. Okay, great. Put them back on the pad. Now they walk over to the kitchen, they tinkle on the floor. Well, guess what? They're a puppy. Puppies do that. Pick the puppy up, put it back on the pad. You're not going to kick the puppy. And that's really what we do with the word should, is our brains and our self-confidence is the puppy. And we're drop kicking the hell out of it. Please don't drop kick your puppy. and to be honest, that's definitely one of those analogies that they used a lot in DBT that I still really love. Linda, do you want to keep drop kicking your puppy?
No.
Exactly.
There are days when, not my puppy, but Smokey sometimes. But no, I'm kidding. Here. Right now, can you see him?
Oh, yeah, being a little terror squad, I see. And I love the fact that he decided to join it. Meow! Yes, meows you too, Smokey. And I you know what? I would bet any money that even Smokey knows shoulds and should not, because he probably hears a whole lot of should nots.
Oh, yes, he does.
But I mean, it really is important. And I know that you've said it a few times the last couple of days, Linda, too, but sometimes it's not about should. Sometimes it's about what am I capable of doing? That has to be enough, all right? I've really struggled with it. Recently, I've done a couple of blog posts myself on things like perfection and stress, because it's stuff that I'm really coming to understand. So it's something that I think that all of our women should come to understand too. The harder we are on ourselves, the more stress we put on ourselves, the less effective we are going to get. Yes, I have a to-do list today that is bigger than I am. Yes, it's a Saturday. Yes, I've worked all week. Yes, I am tired.
Yeah.
Should I get it all done? Well, no, I really shouldn't. Nor should I feel like I have to get it all done. Work can always wait for another day. Plain and simple. I mean, some things have to get done, they have to get done, but you have to do what's best. I'm exhausted. I mean, I probably look it, but thank God for makeup. I'm exhausted. I've been doing webinars all week. I've been run. Social media all over the place. I love you all. Thank you for tolerating my endless social media. But the whole idea being is that I have a whole ton of stuff. If I sat and shoulded myself to death, I'd be at this desk all day, hours upon hours upon hours working, and I'll get maybe half done that I would if I sat down tomorrow with a clear head. And that's really what it comes down to. The more you should yourself, the more you hammer on yourself and you harp on yourself, you're actually slowing yourself down and setting yourself back. It's also a form of rumination. Linda, did I ever tell you what rumination is?
I can't remember right at this point in time. No coffee, remember.
Yeah, oh, I always remember. Rumination is something that it affects especially a lot of domestic violence survivors. It affects a lot of people with mental health disorders. Rumination is the process by which your brain literally gets stuck. So, for instance, this morning, part of the reason that we led to this topic, I was running myself in circles. I should be up earlier. By the way, I had to get up at 5 o'clock my time to make this thing. So I felt I should be up earlier. I should do my hair. I need better makeup. Should. I drove myself slightly crazy, made myself a little bit sick, only to realize, when our guest was unable to connect, that all of these shoulds did absolutely nothing but bugger me right up. I didn't want to admit that, but I'm a big enough person to do so. And it really, that's what did it, is I'm sitting there and I'm saying, I should do all of these things. And I caused myself panic, and I must have run back and forth to the same rooms 42 times. I probably could have gotten a lot more done if I would have just calmed down, stopped worrying, and just carried on my merry way.
I totally agree. And I'm with me this morning. So
absolutely. Now, it's great that we've talked about shoulds. It's great that you understand what a should is and where it comes from. But I'm pretty sure everybody out there is sitting there wondering how they can get around the shoulds.
Oh, absolutely.
Linda's thinking about how she can get around the shoulds. So you're not going to like this, but it's repetition, guys. It's a lifestyle change. And that's actually where dialectical behavioral therapy was so very handy for myself and for a lot of the survivors that I know, because it trains you to reformat your actions. We can't always slow our brains down, especially those of us with mental issues of any sort, or those of us who are survivors. Slowing and shutting down your brain is next to impossible.
Yeah.
Mine is always on. It never stops. So really, that's where those shoulds play in. What is really important is awareness. So that your very first step to removing those shoulds is to step back and say, all right, why do I feel that I should do something? So Linda, just because I need to take 2 seconds to have a sip of water, I'm gonna ask you to explain, to go through this process with me. So let's look at, you and I need to make a 30-minute meeting so that we can help you reframe your time, right? Now,
I knew you were going to use that.
She's like, I knew you were going to do this to me. So with that, we're this, that, and the other, and I'm like, you need to make 30 minutes of time. I could tell that you were going, oh, but I should do this, and I should do this, and I should do this, and I should do this. So pick a should, and I want you to sit down and break down why you feel that way and how you can rephrase it. That is step one.
Okay, well, you know what? I mean, most of us, as survivors, a lot of us have kids. And, each of our kids have their own individual personalities. They have their own individual issues that they, have to deal with as well. And each one of them has their own demands on your time that they need. You know, it's hard for a mom, you know, to work a full-time job, to have, you know, a company you know, to be able to provide enough time to everybody that they feel they should be providing the time to. You know, I mean, again, I have 6 kids and a husband, you know, so that's 7 people that I need to divide my time up for, plus everything else I have to do, right? And, you know, I've got Alicia wants to homeschool now. And so, yeah.
Wait, Alicia wants to homeschool now?
Yeah, she
What is
does.
this come about? I mean, not that, I mean, I can completely understand. I'm one of those people that would have done it if I could have, but really?
Yeah, she wants to homeschool now. So we're setting that up next week for her to be able to homeschool. And, you know, that's going to take some more of my time, right? And not that I don't care. I mean, I do. I want to be there. I will support her 1,000,000% of what she wants to do. But, you know, I mean, that's just one more thing. And I think, you know, moms don't really catch a break sometimes. You know, I mean, we're trying to do everything else for everyone else. You know, we're trying to make sure that, you know, there's money in the accounts, there's, you know, the house is clean, there's food on the table, everybody has their emotional needs, you know, taken care of, and their physical needs taken care of, and there's always a load of laundry that has to be done. And, you know, I mean, just being a mom itself, you know, is a lot for the shoulds. And, you know, you add on being a survivor of domestic violence on top of that, who you've had somebody in your past constantly saying, you're never good enough, you're a horrible person, you're a terrible mom. I mean, I went through, even this last night, I was talking to my ex, and he brought up the fact, you know, he's like, oh yeah, you're such a good mom. And he didn't mean it in a nice way. And I turned around and I said, you know what? You're right. I am a good mom. And it's about time that you realize that. Right? Like, I mean, I lost my temper, and, you know, I said it right back to him, and he didn't like it. He was quiet for a bit, but that's okay. And there's a first for everything. Anyway, but I think that that's the problem too. I mean, you know, when you're a survivor of domestic violence, you have been beaten down and put down and made to feel like the lowest of the low. And so you spend, once you leave, you know, I've gone through PTSD. I've gone through the counseling for it. You know, I still obviously will have issues with it. And every once in a while, I can still hear my ex's voice in the back of my head saying, you'll never make anything of yourself. You'll never be able to do it. You're not good enough. And, you know, now instead of letting it drag me down, I'm trying to turn it around and say, okay, watch me. Watch me do what I need to do. Watch me do this. Watch me make a success out of my life. And, you know, that's, unfortunately, that's a lot of the problem with the dealings that we have with being domestic violence survivors, is that we have that negative voice in the back of our heads. And so I think, you know, part of us have to get rid of that. That's something we should do, is get rid of that those negative thoughts and those negative feelings that we have in the back of our minds, and start realizing the potential that we have, start realizing the amazingness that we are, for lack of a better word, you know, and, you know, we need to start giving ourselves a break, right? You know, for me, again, I look at, you know, okay, I am a mom of 6. I have, you know, a 21-year-old that's in recovery from being an addict, right? I'm so proud of him, by the way, another shout out, yay. And, you know, I have all of my kids all have big aspirations of what they want to do when they're done school. You know, I've got one that wants to be a heavy duty mechanic. I've got another one that wants to be a pharmacist or a veterinarian. She hasn't made up her mind. You know, we've got the corporate lawyer. We've got the one that wants to be an ER surgeon. We've got, you know, one that wants to be a teacher, you know. So I look at their ambitions and their dreams and their hopes, and I think, you know, I'm proud of you. And I don't want to have my shoulds, that I have doubts in my mind for anything that I've done to affect them and affect their decisions to make themselves successful. So that's another thing as parents that we have to, you know, deal with and work with, to make sure that our negativity and our stress that we put on ourselves does not affect, you know, our kids, because monkey see, monkey do, right? So, you know, that is one thing that we have to deal with. So, I don't know. What do you think, Trish? Or sorry, I just got called you Trish. That's twice I've done that.
It's first thing in the morning, and we both have very large mouths. I can say that because she calls herself the mouth of the North. I swear I can get away with it. Plus, I know she's going to watch this later, and she'll probably give me the ears. So, but no, I can totally see where you get that mixed up. But I mean, I think you're completely right. The shoulds end up leaking onto ourselves, onto other people. It's the pressures that we put on each other. It's no different than societal pressures. It's no different than what people are dealing with in general. I mean, you look at, oh gosh, you look at the LGBTQ group. Oh my gosh, let's talk about all the shoulds and shouldn'ts that they should or should not be doing. Right? Everybody's got a list a mile long of things that they should or should not be doing. But you are really the only person that can tell you what you should or should not be doing. What's going to be right for me is not going to be right for you. For instance, because I kind of want to, pardon me. So I kind of want to just look at it a little bit here, because I want to kind of break it down for you. So one of the things that I really struggled with, should-wise, was when I first had some stomach troubles. So my digestive system basically gave out on me, and I had to completely overhaul my diet. This meant no sugar, no salt, no carbs. Now, that sucks, but that's really not the point. I must have driven myself absolutely crazy. I should go out and see people. I should go out for meals. I should be able to handle 10 minutes in a bar. I should. And what this actually ended up doing is it drove me into isolation. This is the part where I know Linda's sitting here going, yes, but it drove me into isolation. It completely shut me down. It slowed down my progress because I was beating myself up, specifically with sugar. Now, this ties into our kicking the sugar monsters with Tanuja the other day. But guys, sugar's evil on so many levels, and it's in everything. And when I had to kick sugar, oh gosh, it's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. And I had to, within 2 weeks of quitting sugar, I had to go to a meal with my family, which deep down, I knew that I should not do. Deep down, I knew it was not the best choice for me. But in the back of my head, it's Thanksgiving. Oh, you should do this. Oh, you should be there. Oh, should. I went. I shouldn't have went. And now, let's be honest. I mean, my family was lovely. Everything that they did was great. I'm not knocking anything in that way, but they were still going to be able to eat the things that they needed to eat just because I couldn't. They were still going to have all of those foods that were going to rip my insides apart to eat and my heart apart to look at. And I didn't consider myself enough for the situation. So I ended up going. I ended up seeing a loaf of bread, which I couldn't have, and bawling my face off in the middle of our Thanksgiving meal last year. So just lost it, couldn't handle it because it was just too much for me at that time. I was so overrun by sugar cravings. I was so overrun by shoulds that it literally just destroyed me. And it wasn't fun for my family. It certainly wasn't fun for me. It was a very unpleasant situation. And the thing is that the entire thing could have been avoided if I didn't should. So when I look back and I look at it, the first thing I notice is I was shoulding. So that's always the first step, is to notice that you are doing it. When you're starting to feel that pressure, that anxiety, that I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, that would be an indicator right there that you are likely using the word should. That is one of those things that you definitely want to try to get away from, is that feeling. If you're using things like I should do this and I should do that, and it's making you feel pressured and upset, then you need to be rephrasing. So stepping back, I go, all right, well, I feel that I should be at my family's place because that's the thing to do on Thanksgiving. Let's rephrase that. Why is it the right thing to do? Okay, social society says family. You have to go spend Thanksgiving with your family. Fair enough. Does that mean absolutely everybody on the planet is doing that?
No.
No. So should I? No. Why am I making that something that's going to weigh over my head when there's so many people out there that they don't have the option, they're not doing, they're on the other sides of the planet? Why am I putting pressure on myself that doesn't need to be there? All right. So never mind that. I should go because I should support my family, right? Because that was really part of it. My mom wanted some help cooking. She wanted some buffers for people who are going to be there. It's like, all right, I see where you're coming from. However, I'm not the only person that can take care of that. My sister could help my mother do some of the cooking. My aunts could help my mother do some of the cooking. Heck, her living husband, boy, Glenn, could help her do some of the cooking. So there's a lot of other people that could help her. I'm not the only one. And that's actually a big thing with millennials, is I'm the only one who can do it. Well, I'm not the only one who can do it. And telling myself that I'm the only one and that no one could possibly pick up my slack is another way that those shoulds are going to kill me. So, all right, we've completely negated both of those. So I guess the last being, well, I should go out and be social because I've been stuck away for the last 2 weeks feeling sick and sorry for myself. Now, part of this, all right, you know what? There are times when leaving the house is beneficial, especially when one is feeling sorry for themselves. But in this case, I was dealing with physical illness and symptoms. I just plain was not healthy. And really, I can't deny that to myself. I was very sick at the time. So should I be going out and social? No, I should be taking care of myself. And that's really what ends up missing, is you start thinking of all of these reasons that you should be doing all of these other things instead of thinking of the reasons that you need to take care of yourself. So the next time you find that you're dealing with the shoulds, you got a nasty case of the shoulds, step back and analyze it. And that's always going to be your step one, is to analyze it from a non-emotional point of view. Take a walk, take 5 minutes, breathe, have a cookie. Okay, don't have a cookie. That's a horrible, horrible piece of advice. But you know, take a couple of minutes to have a quick breather before you then sit down and go, all right, really, should I? And I want you to start being more honest with yourself. I want you to start sitting down and saying, really, what could happen if I don't? Where are those pressures coming from? So Linda, we're gonna use you as an example because I just used mine. So with your mom, you said that you should get your whole house clean before they get there. So what is one of the reasons that they should do this? Or you should do this, rather.
Well, because I want them to be comfortable, right? I want them to be comfortable in a clean environment.
Okay, stop there. We're going to stop there. We're going to break them down one at a time. So you want them to be comfortable in a clean environment. Is your house like tsunami territory?
No, it's not. My house is...
I know you want to joke here, but literally, no, it's not. I've seen your house at its worst. So,
no.
Can you still see your floor?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Right. Can you see your counters and your table? And yeah, is it really that dirty?
No.
Right. Okay, so we just challenged that one. They will still be able to enjoy a comfortable, clean environment because your house isn't that clean and they get to see you. That's what makes it comfortable. Okay, do another should for me.
You know, I want to make sure that, well, okay, if I'm going to be honest, you know, my other sisters, I know their houses are always immaculate and mine's not. I mean, mine's not dirty. Please don't get me wrong, but it's not immaculate. You know what? Here, I'm going to just be blunt. If I can figure out how to do this. Okay. Can you guys, there. Okay, so here's my living room, even though it's dark.
It's such a mess. Oh.
Hold on. Oh, I just hurt myself here. I'm going to turn the light. You know, I mean, not as bad. Okay, see, there's the living room. You know, my kitchen, there goes upstairs. I've got, you know, my cat sitting there.
So what about this is a should exactly?
Okay, well, okay. Here's my kitchen. I've got two bags of groceries on the floor, and I've got dishes in my sink. But really, that's not going to take me very long to do. So I should get that done. But if I don't, I know it's not that end of the world. So.
Yep, exactly. And that's really what you guys need to do. When you're faced with a pile of shoulds and that anxiety and that never-ending rumination, oh my God, it's all going to go to hell. Ah! Stop, break it down, and be honest with yourself. I know the temptation is there, and even with Linda, because she does it to me all the time, but I know the temptation is there to look at it and go, no, it's so messy. Oh my God. He's done this to me.
I have. Yes, I have.
So that is the natural inclination. But if you were to step back, go, okay, I'm not stressed anymore, you know, have a coffee, take 2 seconds, she'd come back and go, well, it really isn't that messy. Because it's not. That is your emotions speaking through and trying to get you going. They're really just trying to make you anxious. It's that flight or fight response that some of us adapt into never-ending anxiety. So that's why you want to really start to rephrase it. The other important thing with the shoulds, and especially if you want to embark on getting rid of them, patience. Be really, really, really kind on yourself.
Would you say, Sacha, that I guess in a sense another way of ending it would be setting boundaries?
Absolutely. Boundaries are a really, really big part of it too. But that is partially your own journey. I mean, boundaries, you may or may not be able to establish them, but it definitely is a component of this. I mean, if you're sitting down like you are and saying, no, you know what, this is clean enough and my family will love me anyways, and they show up and start to give you poop about it, and you put your foot down and say, no, I chose this, it looks absolutely fine, and I didn't have the time to do more, and you should be appreciative. That's setting boundaries. The action itself, you know, is a little bit different. The action is you getting away from the should. The ability to step away from that rumination is internal. The other portion of this is that external portion where you're setting boundaries and managing the other people with you. So it does work hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I was just trying to think that, you know, sometimes I think we have to set boundaries for ourselves. You know, it's like, okay, I'm not going to be able to get all of this done today. So I'm going to get this, this, and this done. And I'm going to be proud of myself for getting it done. Does that make sense? Is that what you mean?
Yes, absolutely. That is what I mean. But we also have to be really kind to ourselves during this process. And that's really a big part of it too. Mm-hmm. Because you could start shoulding your I shouldn'ts, and it becomes a little bit convoluted. So really you want to be able to just take everything in stride. Oh, geez, I should do this. I should do that. Oh, I'm shoulding myself. Whatever you do at that point, work on reframing your should. The next thing in your brain should not be, oh, I shouldn't be doing this, because then you're just perpetuating your shoulds through a version of shouldn'ts. So just be aware. that awareness is the very first step. So you need to be aware. Once you're aware and you start realizing when you're doing it, you can start to reframe sooner. So how it generally happens is you start and, okay, you should, oops. 10 minutes later, wow, I was doing a lot of those shoulds. Oops. As time progresses, it's, oh, I should, ooh, hey, I'm shoulding. I shouldn't do, you know, I should to stop on those, right? So you catch it a little bit sooner. Then over time, rather than saying, I should do this or I should do that, those shoulds actually end up just kind of backing right off. And you will eventually eliminate them because you've changed your frame of mind by changing your actions.
That's really good. I
think that's a good way to put it. Actually, we have a comment on here, which I think is just great. Thou shalt not should thyself. I think that's awesome. It's from Free to Be You seminars. She was on with us just the other day. Jessica's fantastic. But I just had to share that. I thought that was just absolutely brilliant. Thou shalt not should thyself. I love that. All right. So that, you know, we're getting pretty well near the end of it. I really want to thank anybody who's been out there watching us today. We've had a heck of a lot of fun. As my little tie-off, just remember, this is one of many. We did hear from Natasha, so I'm hoping we're going to get her going a little bit later. If not another day, we will make sure that you still get to see her. So keep posted on what we have coming. And you can always come online to thefreebirdproject.org for all of our upcoming Free to Fly conference scheduling information. And you can go online to the freebirdprojectshop.com, and that is where you're going to see all of these beautiful, comfy fashions. That's my dance for the day, apparently. So, Linda, any last words from you?
No, I think that we've covered it. I just think that we should, we need to give each other a big break and give ourselves a big break and, you know, sit back, enjoy your cup of coffee this morning, and try not to think of all the shoulds that you should be doing.
Awesome. And I wanted to say thank you so much, Linda. Linda actually, like I said, jumped out of bed and kind of hit the ground running to help me out here this morning. So thank you so much, Linda. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you to all of our viewers. We hope you've had a great time, and we look forward to seeing you a little bit later today, not too much longer past this actually, for our next seminar. Join us soon. Thanks so much, everybody.
Bye.